Hey, what's up, Boxer? I am here. I am embiggened. Yeah. Camera 1 and camera 2. Alright, figuring it out. Where did we leave off? Here we go. Booyah. Yeah, not regretting this decision. I definitely like these little guys. What's funny is this is the bridge you had before then you came on last night saying fuck this bridge, but it's coming together. Best biscuits. Show off some other panels for biscuits. No. Yeah, I will. There we go. But you should know these are in a state of welcome biscuits. These are in a state of I would qualify these as halfway done. So there's a lot of rendering and finishing left to go. This is a Zelda project I'm working on. This is fan art. It's not official. Although this is the type of work I do for real in real life. Moblin guy, Armos, biscuits. If you're familiar with the Zelda franchise. That's the response we like. Yeah. Some action going on here. Link versus Stalfos. This is maybe a little extreme, but that's a big Octorok in the background with Link and Zelda running away on... Oh, that's nice to say. And a lot of these are drawn from the classic Zelda, the first Nintendo Entertainment System game. That's the one I had when I was like 6 years old. So the Vires or Veers, I'm not really even sure how to pronounce that. Down here we got some snakes, aka the classic rope. This will be too hard to explain, but it's like a fairy in a bottle kind of moment. But like what's missing here is like all the blood and the fire and the particles that I'm gonna add later. This is the Wizrobe, another bad guy from the classic, and Gibdo, young Link, and Guinea. Yeah, I'm trying to give it a honest shake here. Here's Link versus Wallmaster, and then there's one of those funny fire-breathing statues here in the background. And lesser-known enemy, the Manhandla. So, Oh yeah, Tektites, Death Mountain. We got it all. Biscuits, thanks for joining. I'm glad you're a fan of Zelda stuff. Today, so you can see that we have like a series of 12. Oh, let me show you the rest of them since you like this. Because there's more. There's more. That's just the upper deck. I'll show you the lower half. Let's see here. Probably actually easier if I show. Let me see if this works. Because there's another 12. These are even less far along, but you can see some of the progress I made on some of these poses. And what we do, turn off all that, and then turn off all these guys. So we can see these were the rough sketches. All right, so you're not a Zelda fan. Then get out. That's all good. These are the rough sketches. Dark Souls training wheels. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. Link versus Aquamentus. So even if you're not familiar with these old school characters, you can see the artistry. So these are rough sketches. All this stuff you saw before started at, this is Ganon. You might be familiar with him as like classic Zelda bad guy. Link getting a sword. Oop, let's turn this guy off. We don't need to see. Yeah. Some of this stuff is cool. That one's not that great. I'll fix it later. Link versus big bad guys. Move this out of the way. Hookshot. Escaping giant thing. Coming to kill ya. Oop. Let's turn this one off. Even a little fan service here. Sexy shark girl. Mention you in my Discord. Only if you mention how handsome I am and how charming. And yeah. Please, yeah. This is the last one. This is a sort of emotional moment. So what this is I'm trying to, yeah, this is cool stuff, right? So this is an attempt, because I'm a professional storyboard artist working in like video game trailers, and then they announced like the Zelda movie, and I'm like, well, I'm a storyboard artist that works on video game properties, and how come I'm not on the Zelda movie? And I don't even know if they're hiring or whatever, but I'm like, I should get together a portfolio, because yeah, this is because if anybody should be working on this, it's gonna be me. That said, you know, you got to be careful what you wish for. But I'm having a blast putting these together. It's been a great project. Boxer is my brother. He's been encouraging me to stream. And so this is sort of providing the focal point. Hire Max. I'm already busy. So this is like a side project. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but I don't need to, I don't honestly, in the job, the market for storyboard artists right now, it's so incredibly dire that I would actually prefer other people have a chance, because I get by just fine. I work in advertising primarily. Even without video games, movies, and TVs, they still make commercials. I make enough to put food on the table. There's a lot of people that are really struggling out there. And anyway, like, if I had to do this like as a real job, like they actually hire me, then I'm not sure if it would be as fun, right? Then it's just work. So that's the recap. What kind of streams do you must do streams then? Do you do games and variety? Like are you like, you must know Boxer then. Here, I'll give you a follow. Let's see here. Follow. Cool. All right, well, I can't promise I'll be super entertaining while I'm drawing. But some say I do okay. Okay, I clicked on you, and now it doesn't want. Now I can't see what's going on. How do I make this thing go away? Oh, there it goes. Oh, very cool. Well, any friend of Boxer's is a friend of mine. Okay, so I'm gonna try to... The goal for this stream is to get the line art for this rough sketch in a place where I can start to fill it with rough shading like these. So that's just the... Cool. Do you play Apex? Do you play Apex Legends? Because I worked on a lot of the game trailers for that. Watch the line spread. Let's see here. Yeah, I did a lot of Apex. Not the early, extremely cool stuff. More the like the later, less extremely cool stuff. Okay. The long-term goal for this stream is to sort of cultivate an audience that I can eventually dovetail into gauging demand for like a teaching career down the road. Because a lot of the, especially recently, the discourse around like AI and all this stuff as I'm getting a little disillusioned with the professionalism and the way it's attempting to be invaded by AI, and it's and I'm hoping to, instead of relying on larger companies that feel like they have to chase trends and be beholden to shareholders and stuff like that, I was like, what if I found a way to do like mentoring or teaching or something like that, right? So if your friends are Apex fans of like the Apex trailers, for instance, they should check out my stream, because if they want, I'll show them like storyboards from it. It was a fun project while it lasted. They eventually kicked me off of it for, I assume, budgetary reasons. But I will, I'll forgive them for that. Okay, so this foreground of the bridge, the object that's closest to camera without being obstructed, that's that. I'm gonna turn that off, or maybe instead of turning it off, I'll just make it really... Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn it off. Okay, and so these guys are bokoblins. They're kind of new characters on me. I didn't really play a lot of the slide that alpha layer. Yeah. Oh yeah. Slide that layer. And so I'm gonna try and, now these already look pretty good, but they're not in the same fidelity as some of these other lines, the finish lines up here, for instance. So I want to make them look good. So let's do that for a bit. And I'm trying to think here. I'll find a picture of these guys. I like these guys, but I also don't love using too much reference, because it can be very influential on me, and I might stick to it too much. And you can't search for anything without finding a bunch of AI shit. So I'm gonna just do this. This looks like real Zelda. Yeah, this is real Zelda art, or at least it looks that way. I'll hold this up as a reference. A reference of something I did not draw. But I like that it's not, while there's brushstroke detail, there isn't actually a lot of distracting details. Good sense of the scale, personality. Oh. Okay. See how this goes. Oh, I'm gonna post something quick in a Discord of some artist friends that I have. There's a few small audience of artists that might be curious. So if they're up, they might join. And I'll probably go to like 1 a.m. I know it's late. No one has to stick around. Let's try this. Yeah. We can see everything. All right. Hey, Luke. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, there's lots of booties on these guys. Here, I'll draw this guy first. Gluteus vocopulus. I wouldn't normally draw this close up. It's something I'm doing on streams for the benefit of the audience, but it's generally it's better to, when possible, draw a little more zoomed out, you can get, it's like drawing in a higher gear in some ways. You can move faster because your hand has to move less to make the same marks. Less movement. And then you can keep a sense of perspective on the whole composition at the same time. And I should add a bunch of scars and crazy details eventually, but those can be saved for later on. Right now I just really want to get a sense of definite forms and edges. Yeah. But isn't what phase 1 and 2 are basically for? So these guys are interesting. I guess they have a thumb and 2 fingers. That's interesting. Fun little detail I need to pay attention to there. I would have guessed they would have just been hands, but not the case, really. They have the same hands as like the Ninja Turtles did. Yeah. Makes me wonder if this AI Moblin did it right. You can kinda, I mean, don't ask me how I know, but I just know this is AI. I guess it's possible that it isn't, but oh, it's hosted on Civitai, so yeah, it's definitely AI. But yeah, 1, 2, I'm guessing that's a 3rd finger right there, and then here too. So, oh yeah, and according to this, they have 2 toes basically, so like a cloven hoof. And here we see 1, 2, 3, yeah. As if anybody couldn't tell that this was AI. Oh, you guys can't see it. Here it is. Yeah. So this is wrong. See, that's a thumb. 1, 2, 3. Too many digits. Wrong. You fail. Stupid AI. Yeah, totally. He's like Beefcake Moblin. This is too much max in the face. Let's see here. Restrain. Let's restrain ourselves. Right, you got to get the big hunch, their huge heads, and then these big beast of burden type backs. But they got these funny bellies too, so they're kind of like I don't know, strike me as I don't know, I want to be generous to their culture. I think they're a fine race of monster. There we go. See some tuck there, some scrotal pouch of the I don't know who that's for, but it's for somebody. Moblin ass. Yeah, they have these funny pot bellies. So it's like a sort of mix of tropes, mix of stereotypes that sort of throw me for a loop a little bit. They appear to run on their toes, which is something I'm not sure if I've done a good job honoring here. Best place for me to... Here we go. I can host a reference image on top if I do it this way. Here we go. So theoretically, this will float. Boy, these gnarly toenails remind me of myself. Boxer, do you have that big toe thing that I know Dad and I have got it going on, but I'm not sure if that like freakishly big. Just like at the one big toe. I've got my big toe is like a big toe. It's like a big. It's not like go to the doctor and get that removed big, but it is definitely it's definitely up there. I won't put it up on camera or anything like that. Yeah, okay. It definitely caught a few eyes growing up. Like, dude, you have a huge big toe. But I suppose it's not so weird and rare that once you become an adult, we learn everybody's bodies are weird. We all just focus on different things. index toe. I don't have an index toe. Wait. What's an index toe? Big toe equals thumb. Oh, okay. We can move on from the big toe talk. I don't have an agenda to put forth in any of that. Let's see here. There's no haters. No hateration. Okay, going pretty fine so far. Save my work. What's interesting now? Which do you find harder to draw, feet or hands? Definitely feet. Actually, shoes are one of my. What's the analogy? This is like the boss level fight of anatomy is like feet. Feet can be extremely challenging. But I think I draw feet really well. Shoes, on the other hand, I find really challenging. Don't ask me why. There's something about the curvature. Some of the things I hate drawing the most are shoes, especially like dress shoes, but shoes and spoons. Spoons and forks. Really hard to, and then like if you don't draw them like, don't get me wrong, like I draw them well, but there's this uncanny valley that happens with feet and shoes and certain objects where one of the hardest things for me to draw, which I happen to have to draw all the time because I'm like on a cereal commercial or something, is gonna be like someone they're holding like a spoon, right? Holding a spoon in a hand and like eating cereal. Simple, incredibly difficult though to get like drawing a hand holding anything accurately is very difficult. And then, yeah, exactly. When in doubt, black it out or like add a bunch of smoke. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun YouTube clips out there of people calling out like all sorts of even Jim Lee be like, and then when you get to you start up here, and then when you get to the feet, you just draw a bunch of smoke. The whole audience laughs, but it's true. It's like look at your own hand holding a pencil. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, again, over the years, I've learned how to draw them quite well. Spoons, hands, all those things, but I'll admit that the first couple tries usually have a bad take first off, and then I correct and I get it. Nasty Club. Yeah, these guys are weirdly buff and fat at the same time. It's like vanity that forces me to like draw the whole foot perfectly. Generally in storyboards, it's perfectly fine for a hand to be like a triangle with a thumb. Let's see how this looks. Yeah. We'll get there, and we'll use the power of composition to force the eye to go where we want it to. That's eventually. We'll get there. Turn that bridge off. We don't need no stinky bridges. This guy looks good. Might as well do this big old gangster right here in the foreground next. I was looking at, was on Amazon window shopping for some streaming stuff. I'm excited. I haven't looked at or priced out a new laptop yet, but just looking at like webcams and stuff. Stuff that I normally would have thought would be very expensive seems really reasonable, so I was very encouraged to see that. I feel like it must be somewhat related. That's what Destiny recommended, yeah. The verdict on the microphone was that it was doing well, so I wasn't in the mood to shop around too much beyond getting something similar. But if you have a recommendation on something that, you know, it doesn't have to be free like this one, but If you want to call out anything in particular, I could start an Amazon wish list and then tag you on it. You could like add things to it, maybe. Yeah. So does Cousin Nick stream? Is that... Why not? I feel like... Well, I mean... Oh, okay. So there was a moment. So what happened with that? Yeah. I think I might remember this time, but I will just say that maybe for the best, huh? I'm sure that was awesome. I could see, you know, when I've been entertaining myself by watching, I guess, YouTube sort of long-form documentaries on Twitch streams or streamers that make it big and then lost it all and stuff. It's been very entertaining for me to sort of have them on in the background as sort of soap opera fodder, like I don't know, just interesting to see the rise and fall and the pitfalls and all that stuff. Yeah, no, seeing what can happen, I'm like, okay, let's just stay small forever. I just want to... I just don't feel like being invisible anymore in my craft, in my job. I feel like I don't mind being behind the scenes, but it's like it's too behind the scenes. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I've got like a wife and kids. I don't want to have anything go bad. You know, they're unsavory, strange, unhinged people out there with nothing better to do, I guess. Well, I want to be relevant to the discourse of what's happening. I have as much right to my say and stance as anybody else. The time has come to cast off the shackles of imposter syndrome. I know what I'm doing better than most people who say that they know what they're doing. At least as far as like storyboarding and art and teaching, especially. Like I've seen so many like, you know, here's how you become an artist or whatever. First, you know, get a bunch of references and trace them, and I'm just like, oh my god, like maybe don't do that. Maybe there's another way. Maybe I can demonstrate. It's not that type of approach can't yield good results if done, I guess, diligently and with great practice. But that sort of stuff is like training wheels. It's, if you need them, good. But I think the goal is to get to the point where you don't need them as much. If you find yourself unable to do things without them, then it's a bit of a crutch, isn't it? Step 1, draw a circle. Draw the rest of the fucking L. What was your South Park comment earlier? Oh, whatever. Post a thing in my Discord. I have to get better about doing Discord stuff as well. I'm really just recently feeling comfortable enough sort of talking about streaming more more broadly and in general that like, hey, because it's happened a few times. Oh, definitely saw that episode. I totally missed your reference when you posted it. Oh yeah, no, the Great Fairy has well, that'll be the thing, is that this won't ever be like ooh, broad mainstream kind of thing. Like I want this to have a sense of like, you know, we're not all babies in art class, in art school, in the industry. You know, try to think about, you know, growing a bit of a thick skin, and you know, there might be some cursing, some off-color remarks, you know, whatever, but nothing more or worse than you would hear in like a pit of artists at, you know, Blizzard or something like that. Well, I guess that could be pretty toxic, but maybe maybe a step down from that, and that'll be the vibe here. In the sketch that I did, that was the cursed fairy. So she may have rockin' tits, but they're cursed. She's the Dark World fairy. I always like it when like triceps are so shredded that they've got like these little ribs. Ribs of muscle. Mm-hmm. You know what? I don't know if it could or should be a thing, but I was wondering, like, it would be sort of funny to like, because this could apply to mom or dad, where we have them like react to their old content, that, you know, the stuff that they be like, my dad reacts to the Zelda episode that he watched, or that he wrote. You know, he's watching it and he's like, oh yeah, I remember this. What I originally wanted to do was, you know, have Zelda flash her panties to camera, but that got censored. But we squeaked this other thing by, you know, or whatever. It's and then later on, you know, we never got the Zelda panty shot, but Sprite, the fairy, definitely, if you like freeze frame at this moment, you could see, you know, something like that. But he's too shy for that stuff. The forearms are some of the most interesting parts of the anatomy to draw personally. I agree. I'm not saying this is good stuff either. I definitely struggle with a lot of it. This wouldn't be like this, for instance. It should be like... just studying dad's forearms. There's always stuff to correct, but the doesn't need to be more accurate than what a comic book might show. Gets the point across. Dire Docks, baby. This is the Chiltendo. Here, I'm gonna... This toe is a secret portrait. It's a cameo, if you will, of my own toe. Yeah, he would be a little bit, but I think he would come back. Yeah, that's too shy about stuff sometimes. I would I mean, the time to feels like now, like if I think there's an audience for it, whether or not it's like stuff like that kind of content has to get like decently edited and whatnot to be palatable. You couldn't just do it on the. I mean, maybe you could. That's a pretty talented, funny guy. I'm sure he could just like riff with just us sort of encouraging him a little bit in the background, but most of the content I see where people are trying to do that sort of thing, it's pretty slickly edited and curated, so it feels a little higher effort than what I think we would normally be used to, especially for this stream. Yeah, that was my old sketchbook. Those were the Max and Ken comics I used to make. Those were very they were pretty good. So that sketchbook was stolen. It was ahead of its time. I mean, to this day, whenever I'm in that room, I keep looking for that kind of stuff. That sketchbook was stolen when I was a senior in high school. It just one day it was there, and the next day it was gone, and I don't know. I was pretty precious with that thing. I think someone got into it, took it. Not sure who, but it's lost. It's like Lord of the Rings lore. There was entertaining stuff. It was also a slice of that period of time. My attitudes towards things. It was very. It was. I mean, that was me at like my most misogynistic, my most angry, my most edgy. You know. That was like. That was me in the incel days. That was once I wasn't an incel, that kind of stuff faded away. Oh, give me a good quote, old Max quote. I mean, I like that. Can I whistle and still be fat? Yeah. I thought it could, I was drawing stereotypical black gangsters in that, having no personal experience with them whatsoever, but I thought I drew them pretty well for what it was. Oh, it was Homie Jesus, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, Bob and Sliced Pickles. Okay, so Bob and Sliced Pickles was technically a joke. I don't want to, I'll take credit, but I can't. An old buddy of mine, Aaron Patzik, did a cartoon, and he was a terrible artist, but there was a sign that says Bobbit Sliced Pickles in the background. So I appropriated it. Well, the yum was something that I added for sure, but yeah. You're never too young to steal. Ah. Well, I definitely did a better job than he did. Okay. Let's get to... This is fun. We're making progress. We're making progress. All right, here we go. Turn off that. Oh, maybe keep it on, but turn it low. There we go. I mean, look how good this guy looks. He doesn't even need any finishing. I'll do it anyway. I like how I drew him carrying a big spoon. Like, isn't it... It's like a funny thing, right? It's like, grab whatever's nearby. This guy's like, I'm cooking dinner, but now I'm gonna go kick some ass. Do you remember the old Nick Jr. cartoons? Not the super popular Nickelodeon ones, but the ones that were... The ones that were like... From like... Come on, OBS. Leave me alone. I probably should update. This update came on the heels of the earlier update, so it's probably a good one. Wrinkles. The like David the Gnome, and they had that anime version of the Grimm's Fairy Tales that I used to love that one because it just felt like they were non-Disneyfied. Very interesting takes on some of the. I think about stuff like that, like old cartoons. There were trippy stuff back in the day. Sentimental music's getting me nostalgic. Those were the days, man. Like, you were young, I'm sure you remember well enough, like the deck room, and Mom and Dad finally had cable TV and Nickelodeon, and Dad was so busy with work that he couldn't use this giant entertainment theater that he... It's like he was so busy working to afford the thing that he could barely even enjoy the home theater. We used to call it that, right? Yeah. That was what things were back in the day. Now, like, a giant TV is just a TV. It's like, how do you even buy a TV that's smaller than 50 inches? You practically can't. Yeah, old school Ren and Stimpy. Totally crazy. That guy got canceled, pretty much, the Ren and Stimpy creator, which is sort of funny. I remember Mom talking about him in a way that was not a bad way, but I guess maybe things are more sensitive. Also, Mom had an ability to sort of hang with the boys, the way there was just like a different... I'm sure it was all toxic and bad, but you know, there was no way to cancel people back then. Who is Rob Paulson? Do I know them? Oh, the voice of Pinky. Yeah, yeah. No. Hey, Brain, what we do today? The same thing we do every day. Try to take over the world. I'm not doing a good job, but no. Right, and Yeah. Mom likes that. She tells that story of the Pinky and the Brain were characters of real life animators that came up at the same time that Boxer and I's parents did in the animation industry, and so everybody knew each other and all that stuff. So that's funny. I'm sure if he remembers Mom, and I'm sure he does, probably might remember that moment, but could only guess what he's up to these days. I saw him in a he was doing something like across. They were doing voice acting with like Seth MacFarlane, no Seth Green, who's of course a popular. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, all those guys deserve it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it was whatever. It was trending for whatever reason, and sort of funny who ends up being a talented voice actor. So wait a second. The guy who voiced it was the same guy that it was based on as a caricature? That's cool. So I mean, you know this, right? All the classic Looney Tunes and, well, the Looney Tunes were the most egregious, but all of the classic cartoon characters, even Mickey Mouse, are caricatures of famous celebrities of their day. So I think with characters like Goofy and like Donald Duck, it's a little harder to pin it exactly, but essentially a lot of those original Looney Tunes and Disney characters were essentially caricatures of famous vaudevillian and silent film actors, basically stealing the bit to oh, he voiced Mighty Max. Okay. My pride wouldn't allow me to watch Mighty Max, although it looked like a cool cartoon for what it was. I would get like at that time. There was a time, if anybody's still listening, who may not actually be in the chat, but in the 80s and 90s, it was like cool to tease people and be mean, basically be a bully. And I never really had like a bullying problem per se, but almost just the same is a popularity problem, because when people like you, they still tease you. And so a lot of people would say like, Mighty Max, Mighty Max. When I was young and impressionable. It's so funny to it was the era of 80s and 90s cartoons. Like, what was the agenda? I guess it was just sell toys cheaply made from overseas or something like that, but I reflect on the 80s as being extremely dystopian, and then the 90s just being this sort of caricature of the 80s itself. The 90s being the hangover of the 80s, and then like waking up to find like cool consumer electronics, but it's all sort of controlled and made in Japan. Like Sony being the like of some sort of crazy phenomenon that Drawing the hamstring coming up to the glutes in a foreshortening running pose. Yeah, I mean, I'm faking some of this shit. I'm not sure what. I don't think about it too much. This is drawing 101 for butts, so it's like person, so legs, so like this is a butt standing still. This is the butt where this leg is walking. You can see where I'm just using the curves to make the difference. And then, once again, neutral. And then you just invert. Wait, did I do that right? Yeah, no. Wait. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of it is the sort of I try to think about it as like what's closer to camera, and if it's closer, it's overlapping what's behind it, and knowing that has to happen. If you, because a lot of people will be like, okay, I don't want to overstress a mistake. So if they are unsure or they're not that practiced in it, they'll be like, I'll just make it a tiny overlap. Such a small overlap, people can't even tell. But that still reads as a mistake and or like unconfident, uncommitted. It won't look impressive. Really stress the overlap. If something's overlapping, overlap it in a way that is not is unmistakable. If something is curving, don't just like curve it a little bit. Just curve the fucking thing. You make a statement with all of it. That's a big deal that they make in animation. Commit to the gesture. Now, this is totally difficult stuff to like. These are really unorthodox characters, but the posing is not that unfamiliar to me. And then, of course, it's always, listen, left arm forward, that means right leg forward. Right leg back, or right arm back, that means left leg back. Just stick with those basic dynamics. Dynamism, baby. They only have 3 fingers, but the dynamics should be pretty much the same. Basically like that. And then the ear. I'm glad you were on that stream earlier, dude. I might have chucked that whole the bridge and done all sorts of stupid stuff. Sometimes when you think you need to fix something, you fix the thing. You can end up fixing the wrong thing. I think that was what was making me F up the bridge in the first place. Overcorrecting somehow. Gotta have little bits of crud flying off those feet. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the busyness needs to be the enemy. I can get a little part of getting to like an amazing drawing sometimes is like hold your breath, like go through this really hard part where the composition reads as ugly for a while. It can be difficult to do that. I've had to adopt that strategy when I do color. The color methods that I use have this prolonged, it's like a really protracted phase that's like an ugly duckling phase where the colors, as I'm applying them, they don't immediately satisfy. It doesn't look right. It looks like it's close, but then you're sort of like, no, you should do it this way or whatever. But with patience and practice, I've come to understand that no, that it works every time if you can hold off and wait for it to pay off at the very end. Because if you try to cash in too soon, it's not like it'll go wrong, but it won't be as good as if you really stick and have the faith to know that you can pull it off in the end if you stay the course. That's the hard part, is like you see all this stuff where it gives you anxiety. It's like, look at all this stuff, it all looks wrong, I want to fix it. And you don't fix it, you just keep going. So stick to the course, then it works out at the end. But man, it can feel like you are making a lot of progress in the wrong direction. It's like a Christopher Columbus kind of gambit, where you're like, okay, we know India's that way, but my bet is that the Earth is round and we should sail this way. And like the farther you go, it's like you're doubling down. And, you know, he was right for the wrong reasons, or wrong for the right reasons, but but you can imagine being a crew member on that shit, man. So, like, earlier today, or was it last night or whatever, you know, I had a moment of weakness with it where I was like, staying the course looked hard. It looked way easier it would be to say it's failing and it's not my fault and I need to try something different and go back, but it wasn't actually necessary. And so what's funny is, if anybody's paying attention to this, the Moblins or the Bokoblins are they're alternating feet with in succession. So this guy has his left foot forward and this guy has his right foot forward. It is intentional. It very much is intentional, because I'm intentionally making it I just know from experience that if I have two guys running with the same foot that are next to each other, that looks intentional. And it also sort of looks weirdly, it catches the eye too much. Whereas this feels like they are, it feels animated. Like if you consider them all to be the same thing, this is like exactly, it's establishing motion. When two people are doing the exact same thing, it reinforces, but reinforcing the same motion next to the same motion has an arresting quality that, if you're trying to add stability to or reinforcement to like a very serious thing, like in a lot of classical sculpture, in like Greek architecture around the Parthenon, they did stuff like this, but they would pick and choose which way they would go based on what they needed to be reinforcing. This guy. Interesting stuff. I think in this aspect, from a 3/4 angle, it reads better. Are you saying I should change something? It's okay if you are. I'm just I'm not sure if I understand your comment. Yeah, it's more immediately dynamic. But if I wanted to make it look like they were marching, like in unison, in the Greek references that I was saying, armies that were marching to show that they were, they had stalwart resolve and were formidable. All their legs are like lockstep, moving left, right, in unison with each other. But here I want to play up on the chaos as well as the movement and the immediacy. So having them being completely opposite to each other, even if they're all together and running in the same direction. Just, I've been calling this image Moblin Madness, and that reinforces the theme. Marching on bridges is a bad idea. These guys are going balls to the wall. Moblin balls. We're almost there. I'll keep going until I finish these. Looks like it's this one and then one more Moblin, and then be a good way to... good place at that point to call it a stream. And it's interesting, it's a little bit philosophical. Is a smaller character harder to draw than a bigger character? And like, why? It's true that with my work, I tend to draw at a low resolution compared to a lot of other artists. Like these are, I'm zoomed in on these images, and even so, you can totally see the pixels. It's not like these aren't 4K. This is 2K, I guess, but it's like a low grade 2K. It's definitely, this isn't like Blu-ray or anything. Or whatever. Maybe it is Blu-ray. I'm not sure what those resolutions are, but the difference between like 1280 by 720 versus 1920 by 1080, it feels like you're just doubling the resolution, but it's actually like 4 times. It's like a exponential amount of information that's added, really slows down the drawing process, the rendering process, the file sizes, depending on the fidelity you're saving it at. It can be, it's like a minimum, in my experience. Like if I exported like 1280 by 720 frames, that's like 5 megabytes in a zip file. Same amount of frames, but double the resolution, 1920 by 1080. It's like 32 megabytes for the same amount of work. And in this case, like, I want detailed, impressive drawings, but there's a reason these are taking so much longer. The higher resolution just gives you so much more to see, and I have to fill that space, unfortunately. And I want them to look amazing. I don't want to... This is one project where good enough is not what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I want the holy fuck, whatever Biscuits was saying before. I want the holy fuck reaction. That's the appropriate reaction. Boxer, I'm not sure if you're still there. I had another recollection of cartoons that Mom and Dad were involved in, or specifically Dad. Do you remember the Toxic Avenger cartoon, or Attack of the Killer Tomatoes cartoon? Those weird Trauma Film cartoon adaptations. I think my bro passed out. No worries, no worries. Oh, happy Friday, everybody. Chat's gone quiet. Let's see if I can thirst trap any randos. Click me. Click me. Alright, here we go. That's the problem with the Nintendo and chill music, is it's really relaxing. I can see it. My brother is listening, and he thinks he's awake. He's at the terminal typing his responses, but he's actually snoozing in his bed. Oh, this doesn't look right. overlap's going the wrong way here. I need to be pointing away from camera. There we go. Don't ask me what that is. It's like a rock on a stick with some rope attached, but it is what it is. Totally, man. You've been a trooper. Listen, man, you get some rest. I send you to bed. Maybe we crack 100 and then I'll do it. I was just realizing, because you were telling me what you made last year. Only save about a week. I'm not sure. I save all my VODs. I keep them all. I keep them all. I upload them to YouTube too. Oh, I mean, I think I understand what you mean. Well, we'll address that later. This is still the growing phase. I'm a little baby stream. It's okay. Ring. Let's see here. D. Turn this guy off. Move here. Turn that guy off. Okay, last little guy. This guy, I don't even know if he's worth drawing, but I'm gonna do it anyway. He's so small. He's so small. He's like a little appetizer. Oh, is that right? Well, that's cool. But what does that mean? Like, can't anybody just see my VODs? Because my VODs they're in my archives, right? People can't see that stuff. I have it all highlighted. My highlights are there. But I just highlight my whole stream. And it just saves it anyway. But everything's saved. Whatever. And it's all archived onto YouTube. And on my hard drive. So it's not like it's... there's nothing missing. Whole process is there. Look at all these great... You know, the other day I saw... Penn Ward, my old buddy from Art Camp, aka Adventure Time creator. He was on Twitch. He was streaming. I clicked on his thing, and you know, he had people, you know, fawning over him and stuff like that. He was doing the most boring stuff, but I said hi and all that. But I'm like, I don't even know if this guy remembers me, or I'm sure he remembers me, but. We'll see. We'll see. Any and all traction. I don't need to set arbitrary numbers for what success looks like. It was like 2 days ago or yesterday, my son, who's 4 years old, he drew when I was his age, I was drawing perfectly, and it had been a question in my mind whether or not my kid's gonna draw. Are they gonna be artists like me? It took a long time for Kiki to get set up with being interested in art, but she was resistant for a long time. In her case, I didn't take it personally. But Robbie also didn't really seem interested, and it was, I reflected on that a little personally. It felt like a rejection, a repudiation of myself. And I accepted it, and I moved on. I did different things. I didn't dwell on it more than I needed to. Not everybody wants to draw. It's okay. But recently he started drawing, and let's just say yesterday, because it's convenient for the sake of story. Yesterday he drew, out of nowhere, he drew a very legible coil of poo, a piece of poo basically, with stink lines coming off of it, and he gave that to me. He gave that to me and said, "Daddy, this is for you. It's a piece of poo, and these are the stink lines." And that made my millennium. Let me tell you that. In the same opportunity, he also drew. This is on a different piece of paper. He drew a heart and wrote "Mom," M-O-M, on it. And I said, "This is," and he said, "This is for Mommy." And considering he doesn't read and doesn't spell, considering he did both of those things back to back, yeah, exactly. All conversations turned to poo in the forward house. But that felt like a redemption, and that means more to me than almost anything. You know, those kinds of moments. So, you know, I'm easy to please. If someone looks at the stream, or someone doesn't, or anybody does or doesn't, my influence is immaterial. Oh shit! Oh wait, no, that's okay. But yeah, we want to do things in a way that this might be good for other people. It might be good for me in things that actually pan out. Most importantly, this is helping keep me sane in the moment. That's the only real thing. Is tonight I'm not freaking out about being bored. This is a good habit. I'm gonna have something to show for it at the end of the day. And anybody or nobody looking at this stream, doesn't matter beyond that. That's awesome. Okay, so this is good progress. We did this. All the bokoblins are there. Maybe tomorrow I'll draw these guys, these little figures over here, and the tree stuff, and then that's it. Then it's all lined up, all inked up. I guess there's another far section of the bridge I need to deal with. Yeah, that we'll get to. But this was the night's goals have been achieved. We've got a lot of good stuff here. So that's going to be it. All right, I'm going to bid adieu. Boxer, thanks for hanging out with me. Anybody else is listening, thanks for hanging. Thanks for lurking. Late night lurks, and tomorrow, try to do more. Okay, all right. Have a good night, everyone.